Welcome viewers, both new and old. My name is Luke Macris, and this is my channel that I use to help share what I have learned with all of you to help empower all of you and to make you guys better. So today, I'm going to talk about how to prepare for an interview, whether it be an interview for an internship or a job application, full-time position, it's all the same. So let's dive in. So first and foremost, you need to know your why. You need to understand why you are applying for this position. Is it because you really feel like you belong here, or because the description was really important to you, that kind of thing. You need to make sure that the reason you're applying is not just because, oh, I need a job this summer and I need to get this internship, or I just need something to pay. You need to make sure that it's something, for the internship position, it's something that you either think you want to do or that you know you want to do, so that you can learn from it and benefit from it, and it's not just another sort of job. You know, if you're just looking for a summer job to make some money while you're in high school, then that's fine, just apply to a job. That's okay. You might be unhappy, but that's a different story. If you're applying for an internship, you need to make sure that you want this internship because of the opportunity to learn and to grow and to have this experience. For a job, you want to make sure that you enjoy the company and the culture and things like that, because if you're not the right fit, then you're not going to enjoy it, and then you're going to hate your job, and that could ruin, or it could play a part in being unhappy with your life. So once you know your why, and you are sure that your why aligns with the opportunity at hand, then you move on to the do's and don'ts for preparing for the interview. So do your research on the company. Make sure that you know a little bit maybe about their corporate culture, about what they offer, what they do, what they pride themselves in. Also, do some research on the person who's interviewing you. It's great to be able to connect with that interviewer on some sort of basis, whether it be sports, or something that they have on their LinkedIn profile, or something that you learn from them during the interview. If you can connect with the interviewer on like an intimate level, or like on a personality relation sort of level, then that's a great benefit to you, and that really can help with the interview process. Because I mean, really, when they're interviewing, they're trying to see if you're a good cultural, personal fit, as well as have the abilities to perform in the position. And so, if you can show that personality fit, then that really allows people to connect with you, and emotions easily trump other sorts of things when judging, just because we're human. And so make sure that if you can, connect with the person on a personal level. Another thing to do is dress appropriately. So definitely make sure that if you're applying to like a Big Four or a really high level corporate culture sort of company, that you dress very formally. Some companies, like if you're applying to like a startup or something like that, they might be a little more casual, or if you're applying to somewhere that's innovative, they might be a little more casual. You should look at their website, see the people that are in the photos there, how they dress. If you've seen the recruiters around it all, how do they normally dress, things like that. Think about it. Like if you were to apply to Deloitte, then it's very much business professional. But if you're applying to, say, some startup in Silicon Valley, or to Google or something like that, it might be a little more casual, a little bit more like what I'm wearing today, as opposed to a full suit and tie. So another thing to pay attention to is the voice and the tone of the interviewer. Try to mirror it, but again, don't try to be a clone. So you want to, again, just the way you tried to find that your values match with them, you want to see if you can, sit up the way they are, or use your hands in the same way, or talk about the same kind of things, or have that point of inflection in your voice. But try to just make them feel comfortable by seeing that you are somewhat kind of like them. I hope that makes sense. If not, feel free to ask me in the comments below, and I'll try to explain better. So another thing to do is to bring your notes with you when you go to the interview, and then to bring something else to take more notes on, and then also keep in mind the STAR method when they ask you questions. Well, there's actually tons of other methods. I just like the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. I like that method because it's really easy to remember, and there's tons of stuff about that. You can look online. They tell you what it is. It's basically the way to break down a process that you went through to explain it to somebody. But then it's also important to bring your notes that you had so you can look back at them. There's nothing wrong with that. Interviewers expect that. And then, of course, to take more notes. That's really important, because if you have follow-up interviews, you definitely want to do that. So when they ask you questions, this is the couple things that you need to do is feel okay to have pauses after they ask the question. Like, you're not expected to know right off the bat what your answer is. You have the freedom to take 10 seconds to think about how you want to answer the question, what you want to say, which example do you want to use. So don't feel bad about having that moment of silence. Also, try to pick a situation or an example that you think really relates to the company, if you have one. So like if you're talking about how you worked on a team and you're applying for a supply chain position at Johnson & Johnson, maybe you want to talk about when you worked with another team at school on a case competition that was for a new pharmaceutical drug. Like, that's got a lot of connections with the actual company that you're applying to. So that's great. But again, if you have the experience and you can show that you had skills that you demonstrated in that experience, then that should be good enough as well. And so also one other thing to say is try to stay on topic when you go through, and that STAR method should help with that. But make sure that you don't start to deviate. I tend to do it myself, but don't start with your main focus and then feel like you need to say more and add more, that you kind of stray away from the answer of the question. Sometimes less is more, so don't feel like you have to keep talking just because the interviewer's looking at you. Kind of be brief and concise. So here are a couple things not to do. Don't ask questions that you could find on the internet or on your own. So at the end, they like to say, the interviewer likes to say, do you have any questions for me, things like that. Make sure that you really did do your research, and that if there was any simple questions that you found the answers to that on your own, don't ask what's your guys' latest product or things like that, because that's stuff that you can just go online and find. If you want to ask about the interviewer and about why they chose the company and why or what their favorite product is or things like that, those are all great questions. Those actually really get the interviewer excited to be talking to you, because you're interested in them, which is a key point. Be interested in the interviewer. But don't ask questions that you could find online. Again, don't jump to answers too quickly. Talked about that earlier. Don't ever trash talk a former employee or a fellow student or anything like that. It shows that you're okay with speaking negatively about people and things like that, and not being constructive. If your constructive criticism is always great, but just trash talking anybody in any situation is not a good idea. And lastly, don't be afraid to ask for the position. Tell them that, you're obviously there for an interview because you want the position, but make sure you say, I'm looking for this interview, or I'm interested in this interview because this, and this. That really solidifies that you're actually there for the right reasons, and the interviewer sees that you really are ambitious about getting that position. There's a lot more I could go into, but I just don't have the time and I don't want to hold you guys up, so I'll put a link to a Google Doc that I made that has all these tips in it in the description below. But again, it's the most important thing to remember is that you need to be true to yourself. Know that you're going into this interview because you really think that you belong in this position. I know that after the interview you might realize that you don't belong, but that before going in, you believe that you should be doing this. That's the important part. Otherwise, you won't fit into the company or the culture or anything like that, and so you won't be happy, and you just most likely won't be able to succeed if you're not happy. You can only, in my opinion, you can only succeed if you're really passionate about what you're doing. So make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. Alrighty, and so that's a wrap. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Feel free to personal message me on Facebook or on Twitter. If you like this video, please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Like I said before, I have this channel so I can help you all. So if I can get more people to sign up for it, we can create a larger community where we can all share with each other, and you can all get more content. So subscribe, because I plan on posting a video, or I've committed to posting a video every day by 9 a.m. So there will be new content all the time that's helpful, uplifting, and insightful. So please do subscribe and share with your friends if you think anybody can benefit. Thank you.